The garden bench. At 86, Daniel moved with a grace that defied his age. His back was straight, his step steady, and his eyes, still sharp, carried the wisdom of a life well lived. He had been many things in his time: a teacher, a father, a husband, and above all, a man of integrity. Most mornings, he could be found on the garden bench outside the home he shared with Agnes, his wife of 55 years. Agnes, still radiant in her 70s, often joined him there, a steaming cup of tea in her hands, her silver hair catching the sunlight like spun silk. Their garden was a tapestry of life, roses in bloom, lavender bushes humming with bees, and a little fountain that their grandchildren loved to play around. It was a gift from their 7 children, given on their 50th wedding anniversary. 3 sons, Uche, Nwabu, and Chucks, and 4 daughters, Chioma, Chibuzer, Chidima, and Wakigo, had all flown the nest, scattering across cities and continents. But they never truly left. Their calls came often, their visits even more so. Every birthday, every holiday, and sometimes, for no reason at all, they returned to the house they called home. One sunny Saturday in May, the whole family gathered for Daniel's birthday. The garden buzzed with life, laughter, clinking glasses, children darting between chairs, and stories from younger days spilling into the warm air. Daniel sat at the head of the long table, Agnes beside him, her hand resting lightly on his. His children surrounded him, their spouses and children turning the backyard into a miniature village of love and noise. "I remember when you fixed that old bicycle for me," Uche was saying. "I was sure it was beyond repair." "You remember the bicycle?" Daniel chuckled. "I remember how you crashed it into the neighbor's mailbox the next day." The table erupted in laughter. Nwabu raised a glass. "To Dad, the man who taught us honesty, hard work, and how to dance like no one's watching." Agnes leaned over and whispered, "And he still dances." "I heard that," Daniel grinned, pulling her gently to her feet. As soft music floated from a speaker nearby, he led Agnes into a slow, sweet dance under the swaying branches of the mango tree. The children quieted, watching the old couple move as though they were still in their 20s. Chidima caught a tear slipping down her cheek. "They're still in love," she whispered. Later that evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky in soft amber hues, Daniel sat again on the garden bench. Agnes leaned against him, content. "Did you ever think we'd end up here?" she asked. "In this garden? With 7 amazing children and 12 noisy grandchildren running around?" "Not exactly," he said. "But I always knew, wherever we ended up, if you were beside me, it'd be home." She smiled. "You always were a romantic." "No," he said, kissing her hand, "just a man who got very lucky." From the kitchen, the laughter of their daughters rang out. The boys were outside, organizing a late game of football with the younger ones. Life hadn't slowed down, it had simply shifted, become richer, more meaningful. Daniel closed his eyes for a moment, soaking it in, the sounds, the smells, the warmth of the woman he loved beside him. He felt peace, the kind that only comes from a life lived with purpose and love. And as the stars began to sprinkle across the evening sky, Daniel whispered a quiet thanks, to time, to love, and to Agnes, the beautiful girl who once smiled at him across a classroom and never stopped.